Senator Ted Cruz. Lord have mercy. First of all, not to mention that he looks like something that should be on Sesame Street. Not to mention that. Not to mention his name is Raphael, but he doesn't want to have anything to do with his heritage. He wants to look as much as he can like a white guy as possible, right? Ted Cruz, the same guy that whenever a natural disaster hits Texas, him and his family hop their asses on the plane and go somewhere far away from the natural disaster. Well, TMZ caught him and asked him about this slush fund being given to the January 6th rioters. Mind you, folks, the Republican Party, the party that claims they are about Christianity, the party that manipulates people into believing they're about law and order, they're about supporting the police, they're about supporting the military, and all this other fundamental horse shit that they be lying to people about, but they somehow are able to get these people to believe it. Well, listen to what he had to say about this slush fund being created by Donald Trump, a man who called his wife ugly, nonetheless. Take a look.
I'm a little concerned that January 6 rioters, violent January 6 rioters who were convicted and then pardoned, I'm a little worried that they're going to be entitled to taxpayer money, that money's going to come out of my pocket and go into their pockets. Do you think violent, convicted and then pardoned January 6 rioters, do you think they should be eligible for this sort of slush fund?
I'm not surprised you're worried about that, but I'm curious, were you worried at all when Joe Biden was weaponizing the Department of Justice?
I don't want to talk about Joe Biden, sir.
I know you don't. I understand you got a political agenda.
No, I don't. I just don't want to pay January 6 rioters.
Look, I get. You get to ask a question.
Can you
I get
answer?
to give the answer. I'm giving you my answer.
Okay.
Which is that you were not remotely concerned when Joe Biden weaponized the Department of Justice.
Gotcha.
To go after his political opponents, to prosecute them, to go after Donald Trump. Trump was indicted not once, 4 separate times.
Gotcha,
it was the greatest abuse of the rule of law in our nation's history.
Do you think January 6 rioters should be eligible for this money? Yes or no?
I think what the Biden Justice Department did is they prosecuted people who engaged in peaceful protest. I believe...
I'm not talking about Biden.
But if you want me to answer, let me answer.
Okay, sure.
I believe people who engage in active violence should be prosecuted and face consequences. I believe people who engage in peaceful protest are protected under the First Amendment, and I think the Biden Department of Justice deliberately targeted people who engage in peaceful protest.
So yes or no to my question?
And by the way, I wrote an entire book on this entitled Justice Corrupted, How the Left
So
Weaponized
please
Legal
just answer
System.
my question.
And why are you not concerned about the abuse of
Because
power?
I'm concerned about this today.
I know you're concerned about it.
So you won't answer the question.
Your political agenda
It's
is
no
on
agenda.
one side.
Are you going to answer the question, sir?
I have answered
You
your question.
didn't.
It's just not consistent.
Do you
with
think
your
the January
political
6 rioters are eligible for the slush fund? Thanks, Ted.
What the fuck are you thanking him for? You got nothing. He is sitting here going back to Biden, which is that's their main deflection point. Go back to Biden. Biden is not in office right now. Biden is doing nothing right now. Talk about what your president is doing right now. He's calling it political. It is political. A Republican president is getting ready to reward lawbreakers with $1 billion, and black folks who was killed, maimed, and turned into slaves. We ain't got nothing. And y'all wouldn't even approach the conversation of reparations for us, but all of a sudden, people who broke the law are getting rewarded for it. And basically what this slush fund is doing, ladies and gentlemen, is signaling to other people who are that depraved, who are that crazy and demented, that in these upcoming elections, if you want to storm your capital, your state's capital, if you want to come storm the voting box wherever you live, if you get arrested, which these people did, I will have your back as Trump. And not only will I get you out of jail, but I will pay you for it. Ted Cruz is up here talking about why don't we look at Biden and how he went after peaceful protesters. And Republicans are the masters of being used car salesmen, because the people that they talk to have no sense. They're not educated and they don't want to be educated. And Republicans don't want an educated body of people in America because it makes you more susceptible for the banana in the fucking tailpipe. And it just makes me so mad. It makes me so mad that people are so undereducated that they're willing to give away their own personal freedoms because they don't want to look deeper. Everybody Biden prosecuted was on video doing something violent. What about the police that they hurt? Teddy, Raphael, what about them? What about, you said Biden corruption? What about the corruption of your own president letting many of those January 6th rioters out? Same people go back to jail because they messing around with little girls. And now you're about to pay to reward this type of behavior. Teddy Raphael Cruz, go back to Canada. Stay away. There was one point in time you were more hated than Trump, believe it or not, because your charisma is like that of a cactus in Phoenix. And now I'm starting to feel like you're taking a back seat because you want to become president. You've seen what Trump has been able to get away with, and you're complicit in this. This man talked about your wife. You are a lawyer yourself, Ted Cruz. You know good and damn well laws was broken. You know that these dudes in there pooping on Nancy Pelosi's desk. And you're okay. You're only okay because you see how Trump is trying to solidify power for Republicans. And I'm going to need every Democrat that can hear the sound of my voice that has power in a state level, on a federal level. You need to be having your National Guard prepared for these type of buffoons. And this time when they come trying to climb up Capitol buildings and shit like that, you need to treat them the way you would treat black folks. You need to start mowing them down. Take it how you want it. Whether you do it with a lawnmower, whether you do it with a hacksaw, if they are trying to hurt people, killing people, breaking into Capitol buildings with the dangerous intent, they need to not only be locked up, but they need to be defended to the highest potential of threat. Because last I checked, the laws on the books say that insurrection against the Capitol and state are the highest laws on the books. They rank up there with RAPE. They rank up there with breaking and entering with a weapon. They rank up there with terrorism because it is terrorism in-house. So what do I have to say to Ted Cruz and anybody that support him? F you. You don't care about democracy. You only care about upholding power. And if you don't have power and you're supporting this, you care about upholding stupidity.